Good morning. I'm huddled here in my very cold room. I think we'll probably do a practice to warm this morning. I hope it's a little chilly where you are. Okay, so this part at the beginning is always interesting for me because usually we talk a little bit about, well, some aspect of the practice or what's happening around us and our relationship to it through the practice. And obviously it was quite a week. So the last couple of days particularly, I don't know what it was like for you, but I noticed how much physical contraction, emotional, mental contraction, and mental swirling took place as I watched the events unfold at the Capitol. I would bet that your reactions were similar. We might hold slightly different views, but could you feel this sense of contraction? When we look at the Yoga Sutras and the objective of yoga, much of the objective of yoga is about stilling the mind. And one reason that we love the practice so much is that after a practice, we feel a little bit more settled in ourselves. And some of the issues that we might have come to the mat with, almost, it's not as though they disappear, but the prevalence seems to dissolve. Our nervous system is generally a little bit more regulated. And how we do that is we make space in the body. But we don't just make space in the body, we make space for whatever it is that's arising. And what's so great about the practice is that it is a physical practice, but it's also so much a mental and emotional practice. So I was thinking about how we do make space, and I recollected as I'm getting ready to do the launch party, which is free on Tuesday night if you want to come, for my new book, The 12 Adventures to the Ganges River, where it's a photography book. And what I would notice when I would go is what I would end up focusing my lens on. And over the trips, there were certain, you have so much you can look at. There's so much you can turn the camera and focus. But isn't it interesting when we begin to see certain patterns in what we focus on, right? And we do this all the time with or without the camera. When you look at a microscope, if you put anything under a microscope and dig in deep enough, you find space. And when you go out through the telescope far enough, you find space. And so when we're practicing, one way to address what is here, whatever it is that arises, especially mental beliefs that are fixed or emotional states that recur, is sometimes what we want to do is stay with the breath, return to the breath, and make room for whatever shows up. We say that all the time. Make room for what arises. Make room for what you feel. So that's one way. That would be the telescopic way. Just make more and more space around it. And the other way is the microscopic way, where let's say you're working with a particular belief that continues to recur or a particular emotion. Then you can go right in. Now that way requires a little bit of mindfulness practice, right? Because we're going to meet some resistance and we're going to learn probably about the source of that emotion or belief. But we can go right in and see, once we get in far enough, that it's actually empty in there. It's actually empty. And probably a story was fabricated around a particular experience a long time ago, and it's created this kind of chunky bit in our mental and emotional processing. It's not to say we can't, there's something called spiritual bypassing where we just make it all okay. No. It's not okay. And actually, I want to say one thing about what happened too the other day. There were a lot of folks in Washington, one of whom is Joe Biden, who I absolutely love, who said, this isn't who we are with regard to what was taking place at the Capitol. And I would suggest from a yoga practitioner standpoint that actually it is who we are. When can we hold we, and when do we shift to we, they? And is it who we want to be? Well, that's a question that we all have to ask ourselves. And when these states, these emotional or mental states arise, we have the ability to do the work, to clean and clear ourselves. This is why we practice. And so I want to suggest this morning that when we're moving, we can have it be completely physical experience, or we can begin to visit some of the thoughts and emotions that do arise. We can go in, or we can make room around. And then we can do that in the kitchen, or we can do that in the car, or in our workspace. We can do it all the time. We have a responsibility to create a culture of well-being right here, so that emanates out to everyone, so that we can make a little shift in this culture that we've got going on right now. So with that said, let's come to a seat for a moment. And let's remember the great tenets of nonviolence and truth, and how those two work together to support our greatest personal good and our greatest collective good. And it requires some truth and some honesty about our own violent nature, our violent thoughts, sometimes unkind speech. And then a kind of embracing with truth around the aspects of ourselves that can be really difficult and challenging. But the great news is that we all share in these aspects. And let's set an intention for our practice this morning, for ourselves, and for the collective good. May we find ourselves useful. Let's draw the palms together. I want to read you this new variation or version of the Gayatri Mantra that I just read. We sing this every morning, and I just love this. Let us bring our mind to dwell in the radiance of divine truth. May truth inspire our reflections. So with that, to truth. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tatsavituvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Yeah, okay, so let's find our way to the mat. Let's do some sun salutations to warm up. And coming to the top, let's root the feet. Separate your toes wide apart. Feel your heels dropping into the ground. Feel the ground supporting us. Extending the arms, reaching through the fingertips, lengthening the spine, and finding the plumb line, this natural center that's available in the body at any time. We inhale, send the arms up. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. Bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, palms down, fingers spread wide. Draw your feet back behind you and pause here in plank. As we gather ourselves together, pushing back through the heels, waking up the legs. Good. Muscles of the legs hug the bones, space between the shoulder blades. Feel the breath move into the back of the lungs. Inhaling, exhale, knees down, and the body comes down. Turn your toes back behind you. Pull the mat. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale, light with the arms. Exhaling. And again. Tuck toes under, hips back over heels. Downward facing dog, 5 breaths. Just walking back and forth a little bit, opening up the back of the hamstrings, back of the legs. It's winter time. We work with the bladder and kidney meridians a lot. Bladder meridians run right down the back of the leg, all the way up into the mid-back as well. So we inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past the hands and step or float forward. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, release, fold. Let the head hang for a moment. Let's grasp elbows and feel the entire back line of the body. Notice the weight distributed between left and right foot. And as you breathe in, can you feel the whole back body? Stretching just gently from the inside out. Now feet root as we gradually rise up. Let's have the head come up last. Send the arms all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, palms down, step back. And this time let's lower through or knees and torso down. Your choice. Cobra or upward dog. And back over the toes this time, downward facing dog. Settling the body. Settling the breath. And we take a tour through our little ecosystem that we're responsible for. Noticing anywhere that's a little cranky, congested, contracted. Noticing the quality of the breath this morning. Is it flowing freely? Or is it a bit jagged? Is there some texture to the breath? Good. Then Mula Bandha, lift pelvic floor up slightly. Let's keep that sense this morning as we practice. Bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding. Push ground away. Inhale, we rise all the way up. Exhale, release the arms. Pause for a moment. Pause in mountain. We put ourselves back together again. So as we practice, when we do find areas of holding, see if you want to make space around. So become aware of the space, not just in your body, but around your body. Growing that space, or take your attention in to the contraction that you find. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, step or float back, lower through on the same breath. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, over the toes. Watching the breath, watching the body, watching the mind, and what a great gift it is to be able to watch. We inhale, exhale, bend the knees, look past the hands. Mula Bandha is lifted. Step or float forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, releasing. Push ground away. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, releasing the arms. Chair pose. Let's graze the floor with the fingertips. Bending the knees. Looking up toward the hands if you wish, or down toward the floor. Notice what's more comfortable for your neck. Sitting into the heels. Draw your sit bones together a little bit. Spread your breath across the upper back. Probably noticing heat building. This is good news. Then inhale, rising. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, palms down. Step or float back, lowering. Inhale, we open the way that we do, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, back over the toes. Watching the breath. And noticing that the place that watches is quite still. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, look past the hands, step or float forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, release, fold. Inhale, we rise all the way up. Have the palms join at the top, then sink back into chair. Draw the sit bones together just a little bit. You can stay in chair or palms in prayer position, and gradually we make our way down onto the balls of the feet. Squeezing legs together. And see if we can get quiet enough in the body that we can watch what's happening here. And there's a lot to watch. So we feel the whole body in space. We watch the breath. And we watch the mind. Okay, now the heels will land. Inhale, rise back up like you're coming up out of water. In fact, cross your thumbs, contract your glutes, and open the whole front body and send your fingertips upward. Like you're shooting light out of your fingertips without losing your root through the feet. Good upper back opening. Like you are opening to the sky. We inhale, exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, step or float back and lowering through. Inhale, we open. Exhale, back. Send your right leg back behind you so your hip points are pointed downward. Come up onto the ball of your left foot. Inhaling and exhale, right thigh to rib cage, shoulders right over wrists, foot lands lightly. Let's rise up to a high lunge and cross the thumbs again. So the scapula support the heart. Back leg is strong and anchored. And we feel how the pelvic floor, there's a little lift there. Now we inhale, exhale, palms to heart, left hand down under left shoulder or cross left elbow around right thigh. Notice Mula Bandha now, pelvic floor contracts and lifts a little bit. And see if that lift can translate right up your spine. It's subtle, like a little wave. Inhale, exhale, the hands land. Take the right leg back, lowering through if you wish, or meet in downward dog. Allow the body to get still. Watching the breath. And left leg lifts behind us. Inhale. Exhale, thigh in close. Foot lands lightly. Push back through your back heel. Up we come. Crossing the other thumb. Can you do that? Good, strong back leg. Find the pelvic floor, lifting up a little bit. And open the chest. We've been talking a lot about back body strong, front body soft. That applies here. Inhale. Exhale, gradually hand to floor or cross. Bring your elbow around. Good. Turn the rib cage. Keep the back leg in your awareness. So, probably true that anytime we get fixed in our attention, we've kind of lost the capacity for our awareness. Awareness is always present. We inhale, exhale, hands down, leg back behind us, lowering. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, back. Asking the body to get quiet here. Feet and hand push away from each other. So we can feel what's not so quiet. And we can feel what parts of the body could be supporting us on our behalf. Check your kneecaps, they're lifted. Inhale, exhale, knees bend, look past the hands. Step or float forward, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Good, inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, releasing the arms. All right, next one, knees bend. And fingertips graze the floor. Come back to chair. Transfer your weight to your left foot. Notice your relationship between coccyx and pubic bone right now. So you're looking for middle way, which is pubic bone back, coccyx forward, find the middle. Then steady your gaze, bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Sit down, any amount. Right foot is flexed. Good, making room for what we feel. Good, then right foot back, left foot crosses, over right thigh, steady gaze, Mula Bandha, pelvic floor lifts. And then left foot lands. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, step or float back. And slowly lower down all the way onto your belly for a moment. Resting on a cheek. Become aware of the space in the body, the whole space from the feet all the way up. And then spread your awareness out past your body into the room that you're likely in. Just aware of your body in the room. Aware of the body breathing. Good. Then bend your right knee, externally rotate your right thigh, and place your ankle to the very best of your ability behind your left knee. Some of us, it isn't going to go there. We'll do the best we can. Now, we're going to lift the left leg off the ground, keeping the right ankle and the back of the left knee as connected as they can be. Here's a big opportunity to feel some contraction in the body, likely around the right hip. Lift the right knee up as high as you can. That's right, the right knee. Lift the right knee up as high as you can. Now slowly lower the left leg, but keep the inner right knee lifted. The right ankle is against the back of the left knee. You could find that you want to use your arms to press a little bit. Stay neutral. Just lift the right leg. Any amount. It may be that, forget it. It may be that. And then right leg extends. Left knee bends. Externally rotate. Foot behind the knee. We'll do it the easier way first. Lift everything off. Keep the upper body soft. Notice what you feel in there. Then make room for it. Yep, there it is. Okay, now right foot lands and the inner left knee is still lifted upward and the inner left ankle is still trying to continue to make contact with the back of the right knee. If it's flying, no problem. Just attempt to do that work. Just deep external rotation. And then we release. Pause for a moment. Noticing those sensations. Now let's take the arms back behind us. Feel your feet root into the ground. Palms press the sky upward. Lifting chest. Moving breath into top chest. And spread light through your toes, which is another way of saying make your legs as long as you can. Inhale, exhale, down we come. And we watch as we rest, and we watch as we're active. So interlace your fingers now behind your back into a fist the way that you don't normally. Then inhale, lift chest and shoulders off. Point toes if possible, extend. Drawing the blades together like there's a pencil between your shoulder blades and you're squeezing it. Feel across top chest. What's in there this morning? Take your breath right up to the top of the lungs for the last few breaths. Inhale, exhale, down we come, resting on the other cheek. Place your hands now under your shoulders. Tuck your hips back over your heels and keep going. So now we've got the torso over the heels. Lift the knees off and take the legs way out to the side as much as they will. Externally rotating. Heels could touch potentially. They may not. Now feel the pelvic floor lift here. Just a little contraction, which is really rather essential. We steady our gaze and we play with palms in prayer position, long spine. Can we watch the body here? Can we watch the breath? Can we watch the mind? Inhale, exhale, hands down, walk forward, come back to downward facing dog. And draw your lower navel way into your spine at the end of your exhalation, which helps to draw the pelvis back. Then send your right leg upward. Take it slow. So at this point, we're gonna treat it like we're swimming. The body's swimming. That means that if we were swimming, we were underwater, the right foot comes forward very slowly and lands. Let's pivot the back heel. Station the outer left heel downward. And then squeeze the mat with your feet and gradually rise up into warrior one. Find the pelvic floor again, lifting through the pelvic floor all the way up the spine. Good. Meet and open to any areas of holding or contraction. Just include them. Good. Inhaling. Exhale. Take your right arm on top of your left. Fold forward. And let the head and neck hang as your right shoulder makes contact with the inner right thigh. Shift right sit bone toward left sit bone. Fill the body up with breath. I often say like it's a balloon animal. All that space in there. Then we inhale. Rise all the way up. Exhale, back foot comes forward. And left leg crosses over right for Garudasana, hugging midline. Find your plumb line. Find the pelvic floor. Arms could extend upward, keeping the Garudasana shape. Inhaling, lift left knee off. Exhale, like we're swimming. Take your left foot back slowly. I hope that was slowly. Good. Inhale, open the arms out. Exhale, slowly down, hands to the floor. Right leg back. Can you move slowly through your vinyasa? And then back. And so when we do meet resistance, can we make a little bit of room for that resistance so we can learn from it? So we're not just an endless series of visceral reaction. Sweep left leg up behind us, go slow. Exhale, left thigh comes in close, hang with it. Foot lands lightly, back heel pivots, feet pull in toward each other. Up we come. Find the pelvic floor, lift. Have that translate through the spine. Feel the support of the ground as we extend. Inhaling, exhale. Arms come around now. I think it's left arm on top of right. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, slice the air slowly. Totally present to the movement. Let the head and neck hang because you've pulled your feet in toward each other, and you can still feel the pelvic floor lifted here. Watching the body. Now feet do pull in. We inhale, rise up slowly. Exhale, transfer weight now. Right leg comes up and around, and we sit down like chair. Knees forward. Foot might wrap around the ankle. Steadying. Arms might extend. Find the plumb line. You can imagine that your pelvic floor is being lifted from above a little bit, like you're a marionette. Inhale, lift right knee off. Sweep back slowly. Right foot lands. How'd that go? Take the arms up Inhale. Exhale. Hands to the ground now. Left leg back. Either meet in the dog or take a vinyasa. Let the body get quiet again. Watching the breath. Can the muscles on the front of the legs lift a little bit to help extend the pelvis back behind us? Now let's take the right leg up and back again slowly. We're still swimming. And we bring the right thigh forward. And we land the foot as lightly as we can, turning the left heel. Slowly we come up. Sending the arms up. We're here for a couple of breaths, really here. Then palms come together at the heart. Fold forward and bring your left leg forward. Cross now, left foot over right thigh. Sinking elbow tips land. Find pelvic floor, lifting slightly. See if that translates through the spine. It's like a keyboard in there. Pausing, getting pretty quiet. And we watch what's here. This is why meditation practice is so important. It's not that we're trying to still the mind, it's we're watching the mind and we're learning from it. And we're shining a light on what we see. So we have some potential of growing, evolving in our lifetime. Now lift the elbows off lightly. Now take the left leg and send it back behind you as slowly as you can, pushing through water. We pretend. Inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale, slowly hands come down. Right leg back. Vinyasa or the dog. Watching the breath. And then when we watch, we can see, well, where could we open? What can we shift? Just the subtlest shifts can change everything. Left leg slowly up. And then in, thigh in close. Foot lands, right heel pivots. Up we come, take it slow, pull the mat, feel how rooted you are. Have that translate right into the spine. Inhale, exhale, palms slowly come together, they lower, right leg comes forward. Cross, and we sit. We come to a seat in ourselves. And we allow the waves of thought, incessant thought, to subside for a moment with our total focus in the moment. We lift the elbows off, and then we slowly take the right leg back behind us. Landing, inhale, arms rise. Exhale, folding, hands down, leg back, lowering slowly downward. Inhale, cobra or upward dog, and exhale back, downward dog. Steady stream of breath. Now let's sweep the right leg back, stack the hips, keep the shoulder points directly forward, come up onto the ball of the left foot, and then bring right knee in toward right wrist and land the shin downward. So we've either got the shin underneath the thigh, or we've begun to release it if the pelvis can be neutral. Try two different approaches here. Active pigeon, which means pulling the legs in toward each other. You could take the hands off the ground for a moment, see if that's possible. May not be possible. It may need to be that you are blocked, but we want to get this sense of drawing in or releasing downward. Feel what that's like. And then we'll sleep this pigeon. Gradually fold forward. And this could be a nice place to look at, make room. If you find a lot of contraction in the glute and the hip, just make a little space for it. And one way to do that is to be very tender with what we find. Rather than, sometimes we will innately get very frustrated with our bodies. I'm sure I'm the only one that has ever felt that. And then we'll push when in fact, create some tenderness, makes room for what's here, and then the body can begin to open a little bit more. We don't open by force. We open by invitation, by listening, which is true with most conflict. Allowing the left thigh to get even heavier. Slowly we rise up, sweep over into your right hip, send your left leg around, create Gomukhasana, it's knee on knee, or lie back in a figure four position. Let's take the arms back behind us, right arm extended up, left arm out to the side, turn the thumb down, whole internal rotation. Reach back, grasp, or use a strap. Inhale. Exhale, fold the torso over the legs. And in a body-centered yoga asana practice, it could very well be that we sort of go to sleep here because it's a forward fold and we drift in our thoughts. But this is a chance to get still and watch. Pay attention to the subtle sensations in the body. Pay attention to the breath. And pay attention to the mind, and we watch where the mind goes. Can the mind rest gently on the breath, like it's surfing the breath? How many breaths can we take in that surfing present moment space before the mind drifts? Now tack your sit bones to the ground. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, release the arms and bring your left knee in close. Take your right hand around your left foot and push the foot away and turn the rib cage to the left. You might send the left arm back behind you. Rooting the sit bones, pelvic floor lifts. Find your plumb line. Notice any extra contraction that we're bringing to this particular party. Make room for it, or go right into the contraction itself. What does it feel like in there? How deeply can we get in with our awareness? And then what happens as a result? So I feel this around my right shoulder and on the right side of my neck. Some contraction there. So I'm going right in with my awareness. See what I can learn about the extra holding that I don't really need. Okay, so let's bring the leg back behind us. Hands forward, tuck toes under, lift, come all the way around, hands to the ground, and sit back down. We're not done yet. Roll to your left hip, sweep right leg back behind you slowly. Find the active pigeon first, where you're pulling inward, hugging midline. If that's possible, pull in, maybe uncomfortable for your knees, and get a sense of what it's like to hug pelvic floor lift. You can certainly stay here or come to the more passive approach of pigeon. Inhale, lift chest. Exhale, folding forward slowly. Resting downward. Noticing sensations in the body all over the place. It's a whole world of sensation in there. Watching the breath, which doesn't mean fixing the breath, letting the breath be as it is. And watching the mind, which doesn't mean fixing the mind either. The human mind stream, truly fascinating. All of us struggling with so many of the same issues. Anything difficult shows up, see if we can meet it with tenderness, like, I see you. I see you. Good. Roll onto left hip. Sweep right leg around, knee on knee. Left arm might go up, reaching back, folding forward. Sit bones sink. Follow the path of your spine. Fill your balloon animal with breath. And make room for what's here. Sit bones root again. Gradually rise up. Good. Release hands. Take left hand now to outside of right foot. And push. The leg may not straighten, that's not the point. Push away, grow the spine, find plumb line, extend right arm back. As you become aware of what's going on inside, notice, well, what feels like it could open a little bit more. There could be a little bit more ease, and then see if you can penetrate that which is holding with your awareness. Inhaling, exhale, slowly releasing. Okay, let's bring the knees in close, give ourselves a hug. And I would like to visit fish this morning. It's such a great posture for opening this whole area, which is one of the areas that can get really congested. So we'll slowly make our way down. Take your time. Lying back, draw your feet in toward your sit bones. Lift your hips up off the ground. Slide your arms in underneath. Cross your thumbs. Bring the arms in as close as possible. And if it bothers the elbows, keep the arms to your side. One leg at a time. Extends. And roots downward. Now, engage pelvic floor here, lifting. And then lift the chest, press into your forearms, come lightly onto the top of your head, root the legs downward. Some of you will float the head, forearms press, breathe into neck area, the gills, the lymph area around the collarbones. Check out, what is it like in there? Feel how your scapula, your back body supporting your front body. Remember, back body strong, front body soft. Inhaling, exhale, gradually make your way down. Pausing, feel into what just occurred. Let the body be supported by the ground. And with the eyes closed, notice the space inside your skin and outside your skin. Good. Ecosystem within ecosystem. Take your arms out like cactus. Walk the knees in. Cross left foot over right thigh and let the legs just travel to the left. Push the right foot into the ground any amount as the gaze moves to the right. What's so exciting about this practice, I think, I'm going to write a book called What I Love About This Practice someday. One of the things that's so exciting is that we can change deeply conditioned behavior. Sometimes things we discover inside ourselves, thoughts or emotions, they came from a long time ago, from our families, from where we grew up. And slowly with practice, we can become kinder, more aware, and contributing human beings for real. Slowly inhale, come back up. Unwind, right foot crosses, and in we come. Listening to the body, listening to the breath. Watching thought. Inhaling, we return. Exhale, let's release. Arms beside us, coming into Shavasana, lying back. Lying back all the way, closing the eyes if possible. Again, feeling the support of the ground beneath us. Feeling inside the space of the body, like this balloon animal, remembering that the further deeply in we go, the more space we find. Learning how to relax the body, relax the breath, relax the mind, and be present. feeling the space around our heart. Let the mind rest in the heart. Events around us can be an invitation to look within us. What can we do? More importantly, how can we be in our small way, our small and yet significant way? What mental or emotional patterns continue to repeat themselves that we can clean up through practice? And patience and kindness. And let's gradually bring the knees one at a time into the chest. Wrap the arms around the legs. We give ourselves a hug. And we roll to one side. And pause for a moment. Just considering our motivation for practice. Take care of ourselves so that we can also care for everyone around us. And we slowly come up to a comfortable seat. Find your plumb line. Notice that the plumb line is available at any time. The present moment is always here. This is such good news. The present moment is always here. And we dwell, deeply abide in the present moment. A giant open invitation for learning, for growing. Let's bring the palms together at the heart. We'll close our practice with one Om this morning. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Let's bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady. May we be present. May we be joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech, and may our words improve upon the silence. Our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste. Well, it's always a pleasure. It's becoming more of a pleasure to do this. I'm so glad that you're here with me on Saturday mornings. Thank you. And if you do want to come to my book launch party Tuesday night, it's going to be on Zoom, so it's going to be a complete experiment. But I am celebrating the publishing, finally, of these 12 trips down the Ganges River, and I'd love it if you were there. You can go to breathetogether.com, breathetogetheryoga.com, and learn everything, okay?